Okay, so this is going to be the first of the book vlogs, and this is going to be my first book haul. When I get a little money, I buy books, and if there's any left, I buy food and clothes. Okay, so first off, sorry about the lighting. For some reason this room is like really, really dark, and that's not helped by the fact that it's like the worst weather we've had in like a month. So yeah, book haul. First things first, Enders by Lissa Price. Okay, this is the second book in what I believe is just 2 books. I might be wrong, she might be writing a third one because I haven't actually read it yet. But the first one, Starters, is amazing. It's the premise that there's this girl. Okay, the premise is that a couple years ago, or like 40 years ago or something, there was this disease thing that basically killed everyone unless you'd been vaccinated. And at the time, only the really old and the really young had been vaccinated. So everyone who was like a normal aged kind of grown up died. So you've got Starters, who are these like under 18-year-old kids who don't have any parents, and then you've got these like 80 or 90-year-old people who are like super rich and stuff. And basically, if you're a kid at this point and you don't have grandparents, your life sucks. Like, you have no money and no house and no anything, and it's just really shitty. And this girl who lives on the streets with her brother hears about this thing where you can go and give your body to science, and an old person gets to live in your body for like 3 months or something, and you get loads of money afterwards. I picked up the book originally, not this one, the first one, because it reminded me of Dollhouse, which is a TV show which has got a kind of similar theme, but these books sounded like a kind of teenage version of them, and they looked really cool, and I loved the first one, so I want to read this one as soon as possible, but that might be difficult because it's already been sat in my TBR pile for like a month. Cool. Next. I'm just going to pull books out at random. I'm going to pull the stickers off this. Anna and the French Kiss. I don't really know what it's about. Like, I haven't done loads of research. Like, I've read the blurb, and it seems like a kind of easygoing contemporary book, but I've heard loads of people raving about it, so I'm going to read it, and hopefully I'll really like it. I quite like the cover, and on the back it's got advertisings for her 2 other books, and I'm liking the colour schemes. I like fadey colours. That's nice. Hate List by Jennifer Brown. Oh! Anna and the French Kiss is by Stephanie Perkins. Hate List by Jennifer Brown. I saw this book a couple of weeks ago, and I was really tempted by it, but didn't have any money at the time. And then today I went book shopping because I procrastinate my homework. So I bought loads of books, and this was one of them. Basically the premise is that this girl's boyfriend went into their high school and killed people, like with a gun. It's American. This is why you shouldn't have gun laws. No, not why you shouldn't have gun. This is why you should outlaw guns. But so he killed a couple people, I think. But she jumped in front of the gun and kind of got shot in the shoulder and saved someone. Blah blah blah. And he's been locked away, but now she's being kind of she's been implicated in the shooting because her and her boyfriend wrote this hate list of things that they hated. So that looks interesting, a little bit odd, but it should be good. There Is No Dog by Meg Rossoff. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is by the same person who wrote, hang on, which one is it? How I Live Now. She also wrote this one, which I'll come back to in a minute. But this looked interesting, and the premise is, what if God were a teenage boy? Which I thought was quite an interesting idea. Like, it kind of makes a bit of sense. I don't believe in God, but I've always found the idea of kind of like teenage Jesus being really fascinating. Like, did he yell at his mum all the time, kind of thing? And no one ever talks about, like, you get baby Jesus and then you get good old middle-aged man Jesus, but you never kind of get like angsty 15-year-old Jesus. And the idea of kind of there being someone who's thought, oh, what if God were a teenage boy? I'm trying to imagine whether the world would be any different now if God were a teenage boy. But yeah, so that looks like an interesting book. Also, I really like the kind of dog star thing on the front. And there's loads of fish, so I can't tell if it's like the sea or if it's the sky and there's just loads of fish. Because there's like a silhouette bit at the bottom, and I think that's like a town, so I feel like this must be the sky, but then there's just all these fish. I will find out whether the fish are relevant or not. Might as well do her other book, How I Live Now, which I've heard a couple things about, and it's all been good things, but the main reason that I wanted to read it is because me and my mum were looking at movies the other day, and we saw a trailer for this, and I was like, oh, I want to see it, but I don't want to watch it till I've read the book, because the only I think this is true if I say this, the only book to movie adaptation that where I saw the film first was Twilight, and that was only because, my god, Twilight was difficult to get into. I started reading the same chapter 6 times, and I was just like, no, this, I'm not interested. Anyway, this book, I think, when I picked up the book originally and read the blurb, it looked like a kind of contemporary, fun, easy to read book. And then I saw the trailer, and it looked like it was about zombies. So, I'm not sure. Either way will be good. If it is about zombies, that'd be totally cool. Zombies are awesome. But that looks really cool. I like the kind of daisy kind of petal thing. It looks nice. I am just kind of dropping these books on the floor. They're fine. A Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Oh, that's such a good name to write. Sorry. I like the rhyming. I have no idea what this book is about. I haven't even read the blurb, but basically, Poland Bananas Books, who I follow on YouTube, and on Tumblr, you'll see on Goodreads, she said it's really, really good, and I trust her judgment on books, and I've also seen loads of people raving about it on Tumblr, so I'm going to have a look at this. Apparently it's like amazing. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. First things first, that F, this F, that makes it look like there's another letter in her name. Other than that, I really like the title. It's just a little bit confusing. I'm intrigued. The front of it makes it look like either she's being dragged into the water or she's being dragged out of the water. Either way, again, I don't know anything about this book. The only things that I do know is that everyone says, oh my god, it's amazing, and that there's a sequel, or like the next book in a series, which is like the development or something. It looks cool. I'm interested to see what it's actually about. Okay, this next one, I've wanted this book for ages and I haven't had time to go and buy it. It's Franga! Oh, okay. The title is pretty kind of like, oh, it's my Rainbow Rowell. If you don't know who this is, go and read their books. She's, according to like everyone I've ever talked to about these books, she's amazing. And this book is called Rainbow, and so it's pretty obvious what it's about. I've seen some photos done by, oh my god, I can't remember her name. The one who played the smallest Bennett sister in the Lizzie Bennett diaries on YouTube. Lydia Bennett. I don't know who the actress's name is, I feel like, but she did some photos. She was in a photo shoot of this book, kind of like a fan made photo shoot. It's supposed to be amazing, and I really want to read this. Like, I have so much homework to do, but this is going to take up too much time. I really love the cartooniness. I like the simple, kind of pretty blank pages. I love turquoise. People don't put turquoise in books enough. They just should. That book by Rainbow Rowell is Eleanor Park. And again, I know nothing about this book. I know that John Green likes it because it says so. I know that it's by Rainbow Rowell, and therefore I should have reviewed it. I'm liking the kind of blue and red and white thing. Usually I'm not a fan of those three colours together because it just looks too kind of like, I don't know, either very French or very British or very American. And while I've got nothing against them, I'm not huge on flags. Like, you know how when they do books and all you can think of, oh my god, that just looks like the American or British or French flag. But I like the lighter blue. I like the look of this book. Yeah. Half Bad by Sally Green. God, I really need to know more about these books before I buy them. So, again, I know nothing about this book. What I do know kind of about the... I like that. I definitely like that. So it's white on this side. I like that. That's good. That's actually really cool. It doesn't have a blurb on the back, which is not as good. Oh, is this the blurb? Is this the blurb? Oh, well, no. But there's gonna be a sequel. Half Wild. I think this is a blurb. Is that a blurb? You can't see it. It's like the words half bad. You can't read, can't write, but you heal fast, even for a witch. You get sick if you stay indoors after dark. You hate white witches, but love Annalise, who is one. You've been kept in a cage since you were 14. All you've got to do is escape and find Mercury, the black witch who eats boys, and do that before your 17th birthday. Easy. Okay, so it's about witches, is my guess. And carnivorous witches. Carnivorous? Cannibals. Not well, cannibalistic witches. But it looks good. It's all letters raised. It's got a nice... Oh, it's got an echo. Like, not an actual echo, but like the letter, it's got an echo. That's quite cool. And yeah, this will be something that I can reading novels from the 60s, and I was like, nah, not for me, mate. But then I read the blurb, and it's 1996, and less than half of all high school students have ever used the internet. Facebook will not be invented for another 8 years. So, this book is set before I was born. It's quite scary. But then, I'm not going to read you the whole blurb because it'll take quite a while. But like, the premise is that these two kids log onto the internet, and they're on their Facebook profiles in 2011 or something. And like time travel through the internet, which looks pretty cool. And then when I was buying it, like after I'd already decided to buy it, I noticed that one of the authors is Jay Asher, and I'm rereading his first novel, which is called 13 Reasons Why. I'm gonna do a book talk on it once I've finished the book. This book, I read the Clarice Bean books when I was a bit younger, and they were just really fun. Like, they weren't challenging, and they weren't kind of life-changing books, but they were just fun to read, and I read them and remembered being kind of Clarice Bean's age and being like, oh god, was being a 10-year-old really horrible? School is awful. Staring at you across the title. Oh, she's 13. She's not 12. She's 13. But it really looked cool, and it was in the works in the like £3 for £5 offer. So why wouldn't I buy it? Okay, Everlasting by sorry. Okay. There's an extra opening bit. Opens before it opens. I like that. Everlasting by Alison Noel. Noel. It's spelled Noel, but I feel like that's not a great name because people always call you Christmas. But see, it is spelled Noel. That's what you should be doing with your life. It's nearly as good as if your name was Paige and your last name was Turner, because that's just, if my last name was Turner, my daughter would be called Paige. But I just author called Paige makes me quite happy. I'm not a fan of the yellow spotty things all over the front of this book, but I don't know. I think this is the only version of the cover, so it's not like they made a good version of the cover and a shitty version. But yeah, this looks interesting. We don't have many. Well, oh no. Okay, so hang on. One of the books fell into the other one. Okay, so Divine by Blood by PC Cast. I don't think this is the first one. I think this might possibly be the last in the trilogy. But they didn't have the first two. And this book series has been out for quite a while. I got the first one in the series for a friend of mine like 4 years ago or something. But it looked really interesting and I never borrowed it from her, and I really want to read them. PC Cast is one of the two authors of the House of Night series, but these books are kind of more adultish. And I've read one of her other books before, not in the same universe, but again a kind of more adult fantasy novel, which I really, really liked. So hopefully either I can find this is definitely not the first one. So hopefully I can find the other two relatively cheaply. Daylighters, which is the 15th book in the Morganville Vampire series. I have a very kind of love-hate relationship with long series. Kind of like, not Terry Pratchett long, because Terry Pratchett books you can read one and then forget about it for 7 years and then read the latest one and it doesn't matter. With these books, you can't do that. You've got to read 1, 2, 3, you've got to read them all. They're really good, and I really, really liked them, but then I kind of lost track, or like, I read the latest one and then I had to wait for 6 months, and in the time I kind of forgot and read other books. So I doubt I think I'm missing some, like I think I have up to book 9, and then this is book 15, so I've obviously missed quite a few. But I really, really love these books, and they're making them into a TV series, and the kind of like I think she's the mayor of Morganville, is being played by Amber Benson, her cousin arrives and he buggers off. But so this is about her and Benvolio, and I quite like the idea of the two of them getting together. I also saw another book, not by Rachel Caine, but about that kind of premise, about Rosaline being in love with Romeo and then Juliet arriving and shit going down. And I'm going to read that, but I'm very interested to see kind of... I'm not a huge fan of historical books. Like, they're alright, but I'm not immersed into them. So I'm tempted to see how this goes. And last but not least, A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Basically, I read Patrick Ness's latest book, which is called More Than This, and I loved it. Like, the first kind of 3/4 of the book, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Wasn't too keen on the end, like, it was alright. But it wasn't fantastic. But I really liked his style of writing. And I then noticed that one of my favourite short stories in the short story book that I have was written by him. Like, it's the only kind of thing I like. It's like a short story collection of like 6 short stories, and I was reading one of them and I'm like, it's not very good, it's not very good, it's not very good, it's not very good. It's amazing. So I like Patrick Ness. But this is on Monster Calls, and I don't know anything about it. But what I do know is that I really like the cover, and I've seen a picture book version of this, and that they're making it into a movie with open auditions. So I'm thinking it's got to be a pretty impressive book. Because mainly if you're going to do open auditions, you need to know that the storyline can carry itself without amazing casting. So this looks really, really cool. Alright, let's see if I can put look at all these books. I'm so gonna drop this. Okay. But yeah, so this okay, I'm gonna put these down. Oops. Yeah, that was my first book haul. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks. Bye.